clapping in or was that?
Oh, I hear. Oh, fuck, I will clap.
Clap. What about that?
Well, folks, what's happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters, episode 29. We are joined with comedian Paddy McDonnell. Paddy, thank you very much for coming on.
Listen, I didn't want to come on, but fucking two fellas came in a car with balaclavas and brought me down here today. I don't know what happened.
It's hard on for you.
Hard on. Is that what it is? Didn't know who they were or what it was. It was just you're getting brought down the boot. It was nice and comfortable. Now he's giving me coffee, so I'm happy enough.
No, I mean, when you drove in here, the containers everywhere, you must have thought to yourself, fuck.
Listen, there's not a weekend I'm not in places where there's containers everywhere. So it was like being at home. It was sound.
Whereabouts in the west are you from?
Originally from Davis Flats. And then Davis obviously was getting knocked down and we moved to Clonard. Sort of the street that we were in's away now, but it was facing Dunville Park. And then from there we went to Wadrack.
Wadrack? You've had a tough paper around there.
Well, people say that, but
do you consider Wadrack up the road?
Not that far up the road, sort of middle of the road more like.
Road.
Yeah. Where I am now is like I live in the mountain now, so I look down on West Belfast. You know what I mean?
Just sitting there looking over.
No, I mean literally because I'm up on the fucking mountain.
Do you believe that there is beef between uproaders and downroaders?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What is what is it?
I just think that it's one of them things that everybody thinks their place is the hardest and the roughest and stuff like that. I ended up running about sort of like Andy Town, Glen Road area. And our wee crowd was from all around that. You had a mixture of Turf Lodge and Glen Road, Andy Town, you know, all run about together and 8 in the morning and stuff like that. So we sort of thought we were the hardest crowd, you know what I mean? And then you would fight with Poglass and Twinbrook but then we had mates in some of the other ones. But I remember when we get older and you started going to like the DC, there would have been Twinbrook and Poglass used to fight all the time. And then Andy Town used to fight all the time. So it was one of them ones. Who did you join in with? Or the Landing ones? Who you
backing up?
Who you backing up more than anything else?
Who would you have backed up?
See, to be honest, if I was friends with people, I would have. A lot of time I would have got it in the middle and went, no, that's where we fighting for. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever get a glass to the head or anything like that?
Jesus, having that. The worst time ever for the glass they had was doing the Baggots, which is up facing Twinbrook.
On the door and Baggots?
On the door and Baggots. And it was New Year's Eve. And that was the maddest night. And I put it down to whatever was being sold or what people were taking in the club because it was fucking mental. It was like a fella had bit a girl's eyeball. Was one of the things that happened.
How the fuck did you get in for it?
The injury that girl had, it was like pus coming out of her eye. It was fucking ridiculous.
Oh, fuck.
And then there was just mayhem. There was 2 girls fighting on the dance floor. So after that, it happened with Put Your Man and all out. And then I went back up. There was 2 girls fighting. And when girls are fighting, you can't go in the same way as you do with fellas. Yeah. And girls grab each other's hair. So the only thing you can do is sort of grab them around the waist. So I had one of the girls by the waist and another bouncer he had the other girl by the waist, and we're trying to separate the two of them. And obviously there's a lot of motion going on. And her fella was coming back the one I had from the bar and seeing me like behind his missus. So he just come over and hit me over the back of the head of a bottle.
You could have probably smelt your heart on.
Do you know what I mean?
You never
know. She was pushing back. No, that wasn't the case. But so, and then he got put out and he was like, I didn't know you were a bouncer. I just seen you with my missus. And I'm going on.
It's understandable. It is. Like, imagine you walked in, you saw someone behind your missus like that there.
You know, a few drinks in you.
I've
never bottled anybody or glassed anybody, to be honest with you.
Yet?
No, I wouldn't. I don't like using weapons. I've never
Just
ever liked
fist.
that. I'll turn this phone off because it's going to go mental here. But
what we'll do here is just bring me back the very, very start. So, young Paddy. What was young Paddy like?
Young Paddy was very quiet. To be honest with you, I was the youngest in the house and the only boy. So I had a lot of like females around you doing stuff for you. And I was fairly quiet. My dad, he would have had me on building sites and all from no age. He was a roofer. So he always kept me in the van and he was a boxer too. So he had me doing boxing and stuff like that. But I do remember being quiet up until I was about maybe 12. And then things changed, you know. So a few things happened and I just went mad and started running about with different people and just getting up to all sorts, you know.
Were you still in Divis at this stage?
No. By that stage then we had moved up to Glen Road. And I always went to school down the road, which is what people say. So I went to St. Kevin, so always had friends from down the road, down the falls, Beachmount, all over. I've always had
You're a man
friends
of the
all
people.
over. I've always had friends everywhere. I
Yeah.
tend to do that. I tend to bounce about from crowd to crowd and stuff like that. I don't like having people in different places. But I was very quiet. Wanted to be a priest, believe it or not, growing up.
Give me father for I've sinned.
I wanted to be a priest. I always remember, like,
Father Paddy.
a Father Paddy. I would have been a good priest. I'd have been one of the ones you would have wanted to be a priest, you know?
It'd be more like Pastor Bigby.
Well, you know, I probably, if it was a priest, I still probably would have been going with women and all, you know what I mean? Which is what you sort of want, you know, the way the priests are. But I just remember, I would say 12, I just changed. And
Were you
then-
religious?
Very
thought-
religious
yeah.
when I was younger, right? Mainly because you get brought to mass all the time, and then spent a lot of time in my grannies, both grannies, and both grannies wanted to go to mass and novenas and all that there. So you were just constantly going to mass and then in the chapel. So you just thought it was a big part of your life. School, it's all about the priest and
Yeah.
fucking the Catholic faith, and that's all it pumped into you, you know. So I think it was something to connect to at an early age, and it was always there. But then by the time I was 12, 13, started making thoughts for myself and growing up and realising what girls are for and smoking and drinking and whatever else you were
Would you
getting
have been
up to.
smoking and drinking at that age, like 13, 14?
Yeah.
Where would have been the place to go?
Mainly would have hung about like the bowling alleys on the Andy Town Road there, behind Curly's. There was a field on the Glen Road we was drinking, the Falls Park, Woodlands up in Finnegan.
No graveyards?
Very little. I
No.
did go into them, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really liked drinking in them. We did go in them. We would have went into Milltown and City Cemetery, but mostly you just hung about the parks and fields and stuff like that. And just get up to all sorts of nonsense, you know what I mean? I remember our gang we were well known about the road, and quite a few of the businesses would have started to put railings and stuff up and shutters on their businesses because we were knocking about there. I don't really remember wrecking any of them, but I do remember, like, you would have
Caused
got
a bit of chaos.
yeah. You remember, like, there was an old abandoned flat, and we would have went in there and hung about, and then everybody wrecked it and whatever because we're all stupid. But, you know, you would have got up to wee things like that when you were younger.
What's the most enjoyable thing about growing up in West Belfast?
I think it sets you up for life. I think if you grew up in West Belfast, I always say it's like you've done a degree in street. So it sets you up for your life. You can go anywhere. You have no fear. You have no, you know, panicking about things.
Yeah.
I remember going to America and not panic. Like anywhere I go in the world, I don't really panic. If you have somebody with, like, the way from the kids puts a bit of fear in you, but when you're on your own, you're not worried about anything. Walking through Melbourne, guy pulled a knife at me, and I laughed. And I don't know if I laughed because I was out of breath, or because I just went up this hill, or if it was, I don't know. It was just, I just laughed at him. And when I laughed at him, he just ran away. So I don't know if he was just standing there with it or what went on, but that's what happened in Australia. Like, but I just laughed at him and he pulled it out. And he
You should have
bolted.
shown him your dagger.
I should have.
Man, you
I
should
should have.
just
Well,
worked
that
it
was the
out.
next step. Maybe that's what I was thinking. You know,
Was there any like negatives about growing up in West Belfast?
I think a negative thing about it is that there was no interaction with, you know, Protestant community.
Yeah.
So when you played football matches against them, or there was any interaction that way, I don't think I have that much sectarianism in me. Even though I supported Celtic and, you know, all my friends, I didn't really have that negativity of sectarianism. And I know a lot of my friends who come from the New Lodge or Ardorn or Short Strand have that a lot more than I would have it. And it's probably because on a daily basis there's that interlink or passing or going through or
The interface
interaction.
areas.
The interface areas
Aye.
where, you know, a brick comes through your window or somebody, so that it's wraith
Yeah.
in and around them places where we sort of didn't have that, you know.
I think it's because basically they're like on the front lines.
Possibly.
And,
It's a daily occurrence, whereas we sort of forget about it. You were in your areas, you were in where you were, and there was no interaction. I do remember, like, when you went to raves or even Thunderland or something like that, or when you were younger, and they were like, he's a wee orange man, and there would have been a bit of clashing
Yeah.
and fighting going on. Like, I'd be wrong to say that none of that happened. I do remember after Thunderland, like, going into the train station facing the King's Hall and fighting my wee lads that was getting the train to Lisburn because you... And it turned out actually one of them wasn't even fucking Protestant that they get jumped. He was just a Catholic from
Yeah.
Lisburn. But once he says he was going to Lisburn, everybody jumped him. So that I think that's a negative. Well, there's no interaction between the two communities, you know, to take that sort of sectarianism away from it. And also just like the lack of things that there was. Now there's a lot more for kids now, but we had fuck all. Like,
At Leisure Centre in Andytown now, fucking.
That's what I mean, everything. Look, don't get me wrong, we
Class.
had a leisure centre and we had, but you went to leisure centre maybe on a Saturday and you were given £1. So you had to get into the swimmers, get yourself a chip and a drink after and get into the swimmers, you know what I mean? Or you had football, but there was lack of anything for the young ones growing up. So you had to make your own thing. So I think there are maybe two of the main things that's a negative thing.
Do you think there's a rivalry between North and West Belfast?
There's this thing where North Belfast, they do see themselves. There's that whole. I remember people saying to me before, "Where were you using 69 when we were getting attacked?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't even born, so I mean, I can't say where I was." Like,
And
I
your
was
dad's
just-
balls?
I was non-existent, you know. There is a wee bit of rivalry between North and West, and that sort of feeling like you have more than us, or you are weird,
Yeah.
or we think they're weird, and there
Even
can
growing
be-
up for myself, like,
Yeah.
it was like that there. Like, there was times that we would go over to parties in Beachmount and all, and you'd be like, right, like who's about?
you were on
You'd
the
be,
edge a wee bit.
yeah, I should be
Yeah.
sending people.
And where are you from, Ardoyne?
Ardoyne.
I used to love Talakis, by the way.
I heard that's before my day, but the Pittsburgh and Talaki's GA Glen Park.
Talakis, Jenny. Like, I remember going into the GAA and all the girls sat on one side and all the fellas sat on the other side. And my mate was over, he was one of my combs, and he was over talking to all these girls. And the barman went, "You may tell him to watch what he's doing there." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "That's all their boys over there." And I was like, "Why do they sit over there and they sit over here?" And he says, "That's the way they do it in here." And
That's
weird. Like,
that's weird.
weird. And then I remember going to the Star, like, and women weren't allowed into the fucking snooker room.
Like a men's club was proper.
It was like, if a woman came in, like, there was squealing. I remember being in it one time, the girl came in through the plate of dinner. It was one Sunday, we were in watching the match. She threw the plate of dinner at the wall. "If you want to fuck, there's your dinner, you can have it here."
As well, the Star. I will bring this up every time that someone mentions the Star.
Uh-huh.
Unbar me. I'm sick of it.
Why
But
you
bar for
barred?
2.5 years fighting. But they still won't unbar me.
Who are you fighting with, Stav?
Can't even remember. I have to write a letter to the
committee?
Yeah.
I'll have a word with him for them. Just,
Do.
I'll see what I do. I'm not promising anything, like, but
Because there is times that you do want to go to the Star. It's the top of my street. The very top of my
big,
street.
big Darn, Barry,
No, Darn actually tried to save
get
me.
you back in. Right.
Darn says he's a good kid. And the head bouncer, Baldy man, Joe, I think you call him, maybe.
Right.
He was like, nah. He goes, no. He's barred. I was like, fuck. And Darn was like,
Can't let you in.
can't let me in. Did you ever go to the Glen Park?
Yes, went to Glen Park, got a severe booting coming out of it one night.
And bone ones are different though.
It wasn't even the bone ones that done it. Bone one saved me. It was New Lodge ones. And I had pool cues.
Even worse.
The bone one
Just goes
saved me. It was
lower.
that's how I know about the bone, because people go, "What do you mean?" I go, "The bone, like from the bone, the marrow-bone, the upper bone, the belly bone. It's all different types of
See
bone."
the top of Ardoyne Avenue? That is the bone, and it's Ardoyne Avenue. It is mad the way it all works.
It
Like,
is nuts.
if you call someone from Ardoyne from the bone, it's a massive insult.
The maddest one I've been into the league.
The league's someone's house, but it's a bar. It's
I have been in better places in India than that.
it is mad, but it does get paid. To be fair with it,
Aye.
it's just fucking. It's just all old provos.
It's just mad.
That's
It's just
all
a
it
mad
is.
bar. I couldn't believe it when I went in it.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you learnt as a young person?
As a young person,
Yeah. So looking back now as a kid, what do you think you learnt most, or something that shaped you into the person that you are now? I think you kind of have touched on it already, just about like you're not scared of anything, stuff like that. There, you've no fear, and it prepares you for life.
do you know, genuinely didn't really start learning lessons till I was about 27.
Serious?
If I'm being
What?
honest,
Why?
just I think at the age of 27, and just I got my finger bit off, and at that stage I was sort of like, right, this is what you need to do. You know, up until then it was sort of like, fucking just do whatever, and
Yeah.
you made bad judgments. You know, even when my wife was pregnant with my wee lad, I went out with Neil Lennon for fucking 2 days drinking, didn't go home and all, and she was 6 months pregnant. You know, like at that age I still wasn't even learning.
It's hard to say no to Neil Lennon.
No, I know it is, but it's when your missus is 6 months pregnant, you have to have a lot of, and it's took me probably until my 30s to really know how to become a proper daddy and to do things the proper way. You know, you do get wiser as you get older, as people say. So when people say when you were younger, like, I didn't give a fuck when I was younger. It was one of them ones you just went out. And I think about things that I do now, and my missus would go, you talk about all this stuff, and then how do you expect your kids not to? And I go, no, I want them to learn from the
Yeah.
mistakes I made,
100%.
I didn't really think about things like hanging on the back of a car from Balmore the whole way into West Belfast just because I said I could do it, and real stupid things that you go, like, there was no need to do it.
You look back on it now, you're like, fuck, that's
Why
hard.
did I do it? And some of the things that we got up to, but you also go, I don't really want to change anything I've done because it's shaped me into who I am and the stories that you have. And yeah, I get quite a lot of hate from people going, don't listen to him and don't what he's talking about. And there's a guy put a whole thing up on Facebook where he was saying, he takes other people's stories and has made a living out of it. And I'm going, what are you talking about? Like there's quite a bit that I do talk about that you can like prove, like in terms of your finger being bit off and tattoo on your dick and loads of things. And most of the things that's happened to me, there's always someone there that can sort of turn around and say, well, I was there, and done it. So I think people be very shocked from your stories and go, nobody's lived a life like that. Because I'm only 44, going to be 45 this year. And people go, there's no way. And I've lived maybe 4 or 5 different lives. Other people would have had.
A different version of yourself each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reinvented yourself for different things you've done. I've worked at quite a lot of jobs. Doorman, joiner, taxi driver, so there's lots of experience in different sectors even, so.
There's one that I saw when I was doing my research. Coal money collector.
Coal money collector was...
What is that? Whoa,
so the coal man would deliver the coal, but the money is collected on a Thursday and Friday night. So say he delivers the coal from a Monday till a Wednesday. Then they go around and collect the money. Because when you think about it, a lot of people buying coal wouldn't have been in the houses. So when they're delivering it, and coal's not even a thing now.
What age would you have been then?
12, 13, 14, I think I've done it for 3 years.
Would you say you've always had a good work ethic?
I've always wanted to work.
Yeah.
And that must go back to my dad, like I said. I remember being on the roof of Harland the Wolf when I was a kid, like 3 and 4. My dad would have had me up on the roofs, just carried me up.
Yeah.
So I think it was to take the fear away from me. And obviously he was taking me out of the house, but he also was like, I was my dad's only son. My dad was a really fit man, boxer, roofer, and he was like, I'd taken him with me, and I was always in the van with all his workers and all, and getting brought to building sites. So I think from an early age, I seen working.
Yeah.
And then, my sisters would have had jobs in the spar at the top of the weight rack when they were younger, and then I realised that you could go out and earn a bit of money in the street. I would have helped wee women clean their gardens and done whatever to get myself a few quid.
Dale boy.
So I was, but I was always stupid with money. I never really was smart. Like I didn't save it or anything. I always knew that you could go out and earn money, but I never really, just squandered it. Like.
But did you enjoy yourself?
Aye, probably. Aye.
Yeah.
Just went mad. So I do have this workaholic thing in me. But it's took me to get this career of like comedy to realise, right, well, just solely rely on this.
Yeah.
Because I've always done a couple of things. Whether it was working on the building sites and doing the door, or taxiing and doing something else. Taking kids football. I've always done all these different things. I've always had like 2 jobs at once.
Just like juggling it, like basically.
I just always just didn't want to sit about the house, or always out working and trying to do it. So with the comedy, it's the first time I've really just like solely one career, and you're just going along that,
See, when you left school, like what did you go into first?
I was studying. My A levels was science, and I wanted to be a pharmacist. Believe it or not.
Serious? Priest, pharmacist, Rahman.
You get paid for it, and I wasn't in the rap, by the way. And I'm not doing a Jerry Adams. I was not. But yeah,
legally he was not.
No, at no stage. But it was one of the ones I wanted to be a pharmacist, and I was telling someone about this the other day. Actually, I went into a place in the town. It was called Ruddock and Sheriff, which is the George Best Hotel. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Out the back of City Hall, the top 2 floors of it was like labs. So say you got a mouse in your milk, or the affluences, which is like Fruit of the Loom factory and dairy, they used to pump chemicals into the river, and they were only allowed to do so many levels. So you had to test that water, or say somebody got something in a tin of harp or ice cream, and we used to test that. So you either worked for the person that got the mouse in the thing, or you worked for the company. And it was great, but once at that, I was like, do you know what? This pharmacy stuff's not for me, and the money's not great. So I stopped doing that, and then building sites sort of because I was around him my whole life, I was just like, right, well, I'll go and do this. And I'd got a wee girl pregnant. My dad was like, you're going to work. That's it. You're just going to work. And I ended up in building sites. I hated roofing because my dad done roofing. And then I loved joinery because you'd done different aspects of it. And all the foremen seemed to be joiners at the time. I liked all the tools. So I went into joinery and sort of...
Good crack in the sites.
The sites is just like school continued on. It's for most people, it's just adolescent sort of adults. And the sites are good. That's one of the things I miss the most about not working no more in building sites is the crack.
My dad says that he's been a brickie the last 28 years, 27 years. He's on cranes now just because he's a bit older. But he says it's fucking class.
Crack's fucking nutty. Like some of the stories. And you know what? Like my first couple of shows went out there after sort of COVID was all about on the tools and stuff like that. And it was universal. Like everybody loved it. You know, everybody's like, that was some crack, like, you know, stories, they want to hear it. I think it's either you've been on building sites or you haven't. You just want to hear them. It's just the funny stories of it all. And the characters you meet, like, are just insane.
I'd say it'd be kind of like the army. Like, just the crack and stuff like that there. Probably if people heard what you actually talk about, they'd be fucking sickened.
Yeah.
But
100%.
the crack.
Crack would be nutty, you know.
My dad works with Sean McComb's brother. Don't know which one it is who works on the sites. I think it's one of his older brothers.
Right, okay.
But he says fucking he's mad though as well. Just all them McCombs just seem to be mad.
It's I would have run about with Jim McComb and stuff when I was younger. Which is a different, it would be Sean's cousin. Jim was mental, like absolutely mental. And I felt like fuck too.
See that video Sean put up with the traffic warden?
No, I haven't seen
Funny
it.
as fuck.
I haven't seen it. What happened there?
He calls him over and goes, oh, you miss me? And then sticks his finger up, drives on.
You need to be careful. I always fought with traffic wardens. Like
Class.
one of the fucking stories that I would tell.
Apologies, folks.
No, go ahead.
Apologies there, folks. Thought that there was all fucking burglary.
Somebody looking gear.
Loose lips, sink ships.
It's funny. See the other day, I know one of the traffic wardens in the town, and his dad, my dad's mate, and he was giving the girl a ticket the other day outside Tudor Brothers, and I stood and wouldn't let him give the ticket. And the girl came out of a sandwich shop, so it's the same street at the back end of Tabson's. The girl was in a sandwich shop, and she came out, and she was like, "Have you set your car?" And I says, "You fucking hurry up and go. I'm fucking stopping them from giving you a ticket here." And she's like, "Okay." And I was like, "No thanks, or them, no." Fuck. And I was nearly going to get the ticket myself and run after and stick it on it.
It's probably the one thing that could unite Catholics and Protestants.
Is the
hatred
hatred
of it. See, when you were like younger, say leaving like A levels and stuff like that there, and the pharmacy kind of phase of your life, did you have a clear vision of what you wanted to do?
Nah,
or nah?
I had no idea. Like if I look back now, genuinely that or something would have been if I was in clear thought and where I would have wanted to do. I think of that because it was you had to be trained in it, but I love animals as well. I'm fascinated by animals. Like I think birds of prey and all that. I could watch birds all day long, and not them type of birds. I know you do, but I mean. That fascinates me, animals, and I really have always had a good way with animals and always just liked the whole thing of it. So I think I would go down that path. But until this career here, this is the first one where I've been like focused and then putting your mind to it. No matter what it was, I never put my mind to it. It's always good footballer, never put my mind to it. It's always good hurler, never put my mind to it. And you do all right.
Yeah.
But I need shock. I need a good manager behind me. And the best hurling manager I ever had was Brother Caine. And he could get me playing. And when I played for the school, I played for him. And Fergal and St. John's. When I played for NAM too, they were a manager that knew how I ticked.
Yeah.
And they could get me to...
Good man management.
Yeah. And they pulled the best out of me. I would have had a lot of negativity. I would have put the head down too quick sometimes, you know. So it's sort of like when you're saying when you're younger, you know, I didn't really have that until now, where I have that mentality of like, do you know what? I can't do that. I mean, I'm 44, still fucking boxing. You know,
fair play to you.
I don't give a fuck. Like, it's just like, nah, I can do it. You know, a sore foot shouldn't be fighting tonight, but I'm going to do it. Because I'm going, do you know what? I'm going to fucking do it. Phoned the R failure, and I was like, if a sore foot, but I'm going to do it.
Sponsor time. I'd like to take this chance to do a shout out to our sponsor, J&F Trucks and Vans in Mollusk. They're there for all your motoring needs, and don't take chances. Talk to Francis. So here we'll just we'll dig into something which I was very interested in, just in terms of like you're very open and honest about like your depression and stuff like that. There, once you got like your finger bit off, can you bring me through just how that happened and then the aftermath of it?
I think I've always had like mental illness in a sense, but growing up where we grew up, it was like just fucking lift your head, will you fucking stop doing it. And when I said like having a good manager, so I would have put the head down, and that's what I mean. Like, you know, you would have had disbelief in yourself, and it wasn't until I got the finger bit off, and I was restricted in what I could do. Like, I literally changed who I was. It was one of them ones. It was just that, you know, people say the dark cloud or the dark. Literally changed who I was, and I didn't realize, but obviously it was fucking, you know, stress and trauma. And it isn't that big of a bit of a finger. But I lost a third of the grip in the hand.
Yeah.
And it restricted me from doing things. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What way am I getting on? And basically, the court case took 4 years to go in. And the day that the court case went in, my wife, took me to a comedy night just to take my mind off it, you know. And they called me up on stage and I done comedy. And when I went on stage and I spoke about the funny side of what was wrong with me or how I felt about the kids, and I seen people laughing, it was like taking drugs. It lifted off my shoulder, and then so comedy to me was an escape from the darkness. And I was like, I need to do that again. And do you know when you do something and you like it, or you eat something and you like it, and I want more of it? That's what the way it was with comedy, and I just chased after it. And it was the only thing that was lifting the darkness.
Did you go down with the intentions of going on stage?
No.
Nah, you just went up?
She was bringing me to a comedy night. I didn't fully understand what was happening.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to a comedy night, but it wasn't like a big... We'd only been to like Billy Connolly and stuff like that. And we'd only ever been to one small comedy club, which was in Dublin, in the Halfpenny. And I really enjoyed it. So she knew I liked comedy.
Yeah.
So she was like, bring him to live comedy. Just on that day. It was the day after. It was the 1st of November, 2011. And we were sitting there, and I didn't have to pay in, but I paid in for her. I remember sitting there, and then the guy was like, come on up on stage. And she had said to me, you're going to get up on stage. And I was going, and your mom called me up. So to say I was prepared or anything, no, it wasn't.
Nah. Was there any nerves?
Once I done it, it was like, I need to do that again. It was just like euphoria. It was just fucking, it was just this moment where it was just like, poof.
Was it like a buzz?
Yeah,
was there
and
a
the
buzz?
adrenaline was just pumping through me. See, when I came off stage, like, couldn't sleep and all. It was just my mind was just going, and I was like, when can I do next one? Next one. And I was just like hungry for it. And it was the first time I'd been hungry for anything in a long, long time. So she was like, go and do it. And I drove all over Ireland. And then within the 8 months, I'd done the fill-in football for Des Bishop. And nobody in West Belfast knew I was doing comedy, apart from like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
And I went on stage and used to do this thing with balaclava, and everybody thought it was an IRA statement. And then I run off, pulled the balaclava off, pulled the leather jacket off, and run back on, and people were shouting, Paddy, what are you doing? Get off the stage. The fucking rap is just on, right? And people were like, fuck. And I done comedy, and people were like, Paddy's doing comedy. And I think a lot of people at the start doubted me.
Yeah.
And I think the mistake you make when you do anything is you think it has to be your friends and your family to support you. Now, you do need an element of support.
Yeah.
But it's strangers you need to... It's that if you're doing anything, it's the strangers. It's other people. It's the people you don't know yet are going to be your clients, your friends. And over the years, I've developed friendships with people who are from different backgrounds, and they're some of my best friends now.
Yeah.
And they help me in my journey because they're successful in theirs. And they know what you need. And I think that a lot of people in this country end up just doing things because their dad done it or their family done it, or it's just, you know, you live down the falls, so just get a job in the fucking hospital pushing wheelchairs, and then they wonder why they're in depression and they're fucking not happy because you've lived in this goldfish bowl of a fucking area and you haven't moved out of it. You haven't went around the world. You haven't tried different things because you think, I don't deserve this, or this is just what's for us. You need to fucking try different things. You need to go out there and see what you like. See when you find something you like, fucking do it.
Do it.
And even if it's a hobby at the start, it could develop into a career. You just don't know. You know what I mean? And that's I tell anybody. Like if my kids come in, there's people who friends of mine, their kids are very good at something, and they go, "Fuck's sake, they're into that drama and stuff." And I'm like, "Fucking, if that's what they love, push them into it.
Yeah.
Let them fucking do it." Because like back in the day, people went, "Sure, they're how do you end up in Hollywood movies?" Fucking some of my best friends are fucking West Belfast, and they're in Hollywood movies and everything. You know, they've chased their dream and they're fucking happy now.
Yeah.
You know, so you just if you're good at something and you enjoy it, fucking try and make a living at it.
Do you think you got more confidence after the first gig? Or have you always been a confident person?
I think after I got my finger off, I'm not scared of anything. The only thing I fear is for my kids.
How did it happen?
Their safety.
Was it pretty on the door?
Doing the door and putting the guy out of the bar and fucking... He wasn't going after me. It's hard to describe because when you say it, it sounds like, what way did that happen? But he wasn't after me. He was trying to get at the odd bouncer. So I didn't feel under pressure or like anything was going to happen. And then eventually I frustrated him enough keeping him away from it. The other bouncer was dealing with his brother that he fucking grabbed my hand and bit the finger off because I think that was the only thing he could do.
Fucking, did you feel the pain straight away or was the
Yeah.
adrenaline going?
I mean, get a wee tiny paper cut in your finger, you feel it. You know?
Do you wank with that hand?
No.
No, you're grand then.
If a third less like grip, I told you. I use my lips now. No, but it's I've adapted. Like I was always 2 hands and 2 feet. When I play football, I could play
Yeah.
with both feet. I played hurling, could play with both hands. And then after that happened, it changed even how I worked on building sites and stuff like that. And it really affected me. So that's why I ended up working in a black taxi just because it was like, I can't do it. And then eventually I learned myself to just fucking adapt.
Yeah.
I went back
As
on
you
the
do.
tools. It was like, yeah, fucking nothing's going to stop me now. If I can fucking stand up and fucking stage and tell jokes, I can fucking do this. And so you adapt and you just do.
Do you ever get anyone doing runners with black
Oh,
taxis? I
fuck
was
yes.
like as a
You just
teenager.
look the tape. You just look the tape.
A teenager, I was fond of an old runner. It was just for the crack too as well. Like it was just for something to do.
Do you know what? There's times like there's things that people have done on me, and I just fucking the best and worst taxi fare I ever had happened one after each other. And I think if I hadn't have got the first one, I'd have killed your man on the second one. So do you have time for me? To
Oh,
tell you?
aye.
So the first one was, it was New Year's Day, and in the black taxi in the town on your meter, it goes to rate 4. Now, if you don't know what rate 4 is, it's the fucking top rate. That's fucking bump. It goes 1, 2, 3 on normal days, right? 1 is during the day.
Yeah.
It's the least amount you pay. 2 is in the evening, and then 3 is like from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. So you're getting paid for being a night rider, is what they call it, right? But on New Year's Day, Christmas, or Boxing Day, Christmas Day, it goes to rate 4. So it starts, instead of starting at like when back in the day when I was texting, like at 280,
Yeah.
it fucking started at like 450. And it went up instead of 20p a minute, it went up like 50p a minute or £1 a minute. And I'm sitting,
Gangsters.
listen, it's set by the government. We can't fiddle with them. That's what it is. But I was sitting in the car park of the King's Head. There was me and a value cab. It was New Year's Day, so New Year's Eve had been the night before. It was on rate 4. The bar wasn't that busy. And next month, this fucking girl pulls in an X5 Jeep, big weight fucking X5 Jeep, and she walks over to the value cab man, and she's talking to him, and he just waves away, points over at me, and she comes over and she goes, "Do you know where this street is?" And I went, "I don't know it, but I'll put it into my fucking sat nav." And I put it in, and I went, "This is over beside police headquarters." And she went, "I don't know where it is. I just need to go over to it." And I was like, "Right." And she went, "And then I need to come back." And I was like, "Right." And I was like, "Now you do know it's on rate 4." And she went, "Well, how much do you think it's going to be?" So I looked at it. It was saying 7.5 miles from there. And I went, "You're probably, with that rate 4 thing, you're probably talking about 27, 30 quid. And she went, "That's fine." And I went, "Okay." And she went, "She'd take me?" And I went, "Yeah." So she went over to the car, and this wee girl, about 10, 11 maybe. And the two of them get in the back. And we're driving over, and the meter's going, and I'm looking at it, it's going, like, and I was going, fuck. I said, fucking 27 quid. It's nearly 22, and we're not even there yet. And we'll get into the street, and she went, "Just go slow. I think it's this first house on the right. I'll know in a minute." And I went, "Right." And we drove up, and there was 2 cars in the driveway, big fancy house. And she put the window down. She said, "Stop here," and she hit a remote control on a fucking car key, and the car in the driveway, the lights flashed on it. And I went, "What the fuck's going on here?" And she turned to the wee girl and she went, "I told you your daddy wasn't in that bar, and that is the woman that works with him, and your daddy's in there having an affair, and our marriage is now over." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" And this child started crying, and I'm going to myself, "This is a new year, and this child's going to remember this for the rest of her life. That her ma has just shown that the dad's been having an affair." And I was like, what do you want me to do? And she went, "Just turn and go back to my car, mate." And I was like, "Right, okay." So we're going back, and I'm looking at the meter, and this child's crying in the back of my, and I'm feeling bad for her, and I'm going, but I'm looking at the meter, and I says, "I quoted her 27 quid, and it's at fucking 45.
Here comes the money.
And I'm going, fuck, here's me, do you know what? I'll just tell her, I'll just take what she said. I wasn't getting an affair or anything. So we get back to the car park, and fucking the girl gets out, and the wee girl runs over to the car squealing, crying. And
Why did you bring the kid?
it was to prove it, I
To
think.
prove, aye.
And I was like, "Listen, I sort of heard what you're talking about there. Look, just give me the 20. And she went, "No, how much is it?" And I went, "It's 52 quid. And she went, "That's fine. It's worth it to fucking find out that cunt was at it no good." And she handed me, and I looked at it, it was like 70 quid. Don't want no change. And she went and get back into the Jeep. And I'm sitting there feeling bad for wee girl, but then I'm sort of going, "Alex, she isn't working New Year's Day." Like." And I waved the 70 quid at the value cab driver, and he just shook his head and put his head there, so he fucking knocked it back, do you know what I mean? But, so I'm sitting there all delighted with myself, because I hadn't had a fare. And I'm just sitting there, and next minute, this guy gets fucking trailed down the bar. And he's fucking, rah, and the fucking value cab's like, "I'm not taking him." So they come over, and they're like, "Paddy, will you take him?" And I went, "I throw him in. If we throw him in the front, then I can, keep him in check."
Control him.
So he jumps in the front, and he's like, "Bastards, threw me out. Fucking didn't even know I was in the girls' toilet." Say me, "Well, you go in the girls' toilet, that's what's going to happen." "Where are you going to?" "Springfield, mate." "Whereabouts?" "Right the street next to fucking Springfield." I went, "Right, that on." So we're flying down anyway, I have the meter on. Get down to his house, and he's fucking, still can't believe we got fucked out of that bar. Fuck's sake. And that a girl I met and all, she's still in there, mate. Fucking, she didn't even know I got through out there. He'd me right dead on. So here's me, "Where's your house?" He says, "Oh," so like 10 steps up to his house. I says, "Right, here's me, right, that there's fucking 17 quid. And here he was. "Where's my coat?" I mean, "You didn't have a coat." "Fuck, my wallet's in the coat, so it is." I mean, "You sure?" And I check your pockets. Here was, No, I've got my wallet. Hear me right dead on. So he pulled his wallet out, and he went, "Oh, fuck, my money's in my coat." Hear me, "So you've no money?" He says, "No." And here's me, "Well, you're going to have to go in and see what you have in the house." He says, "Oh, I right, okay, I'll go and see what I have in the house." Hear me, "Leave that fucking wallet in the dice." So he left the wallet in the dice, and away he went. Fucking 5 minutes passed. Next minute he came down the fucking steps, and I seen him. He was drinking a carton of pure orange, and he had something else in his hand. He came down, and he went, "That's all I have in the house." And I went, "What do you mean?" And here was, "That's it. A tin of peas, and a carton of pure orange," and I had to take a wee drink of it, Doorman. And I went, "Right, give me them." And he gave me them, and I put the carton in, and then I opened the peas, and he went, "What are you doing?" And I says, "Put your hand out." And he put his hand out, and I poured about 4 or 5 peas in his hand. "That's your change," and I just put it back in. And he just started laughing. And I says, "I'm holding on to your wallet. Give me a shout tomorrow." Give me, "Where's my number?" I give him my number. I says, "Where's my number?" You get your wallet back tomorrow, and you get the money. And then I drove, and I drove away laughing. But if I hadn't had the fare before, which I got 70 quid for, I'd have killed him.
Did you hear back from him?
Oh, the next day, I went back down to the house. He never rang, but I went down the next day, and he done the owl, like when the fucking TV license guy comes. So he lay down in behind the seat, but I could see his 2 legs, and I had the thing open, and I was like, "Listen, I'm fucking, I'm here, I can see your legs." And he's going, I still don't have any money." And I was like, "Have you no more tins of peas in there, or cord or anything?" And he says, "I promise you I'll ring you." And he rang me about 3 days later, and he was like, "Here, I've got your money for fare." I went down and got it, and I gave him his wallet back.
You get some like characters about, don't you?
Oh, man.
It's class.
But if I hadn't had the one before, I'd have killed him.
Aye.
Because it would have been like, "Fuck, I'm working for nothing," and things like that happen. Like, there was a girl one time got me to go the whole way out to Warringstown, out in Lurgan. She had no money. Fuck. And it was in the snow and everything, and it was just fucking... And she phoned up the depot. She was complaining. She was like, "Oh, fucking, I'm stuck with this fella I met in Tinder, and he's being abusive and stuff, and I just need to get home." and it was like Warringstown in the snow, and the driver was like, "What are you doing?" I went, "Well, if that was one of my daughters, like I would hope that somebody would come to her rescue." But I get stuck in a snowdrift, and she was like, "I'll go down to the house here and get you the money and come back up again." And she never come back, and I was stuck in the snow, and I had to phone the depot and say, "Listen, I'm stuck here," and it was their bus, and the owner had to get his jeep and come and get me and rescue me like an hour later, and then I had
You
to
try to
leave.
be a good man and that happens to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then I when I put it up on Facebook about her, and all this whole big can of worms opened up where she had fucking done the pre-formal in school and stole all the money and all a couple of years before. No,
She's a hustler.
she was a hustler. And then her
She's
mummy
playing your
contacted me and says,
heartstrings.
"Can't believe you're doing this to her. She's already been through a hard time and all." And I was like, "Here she was. I'll send you the money to take it down." I mean, no, I tell you what, if you send it to charity and show me you've fucking paid some charity off, and I'll take it down. And she did. So
She should have like donated the pre-formal.
should have donated to the cause of taxi drivers who don't have any money.
Did you ever see the scene in Pulling Moves where Shay is doing the taxiing
Taxiing.
and he jumps out the top yard on where the park inn used to be, and he goes, "I'll be back in 5 minutes," and they're in going, "Like, you still waiting on that fur?" And he goes, I've got a rough idea of where he is," and he's just staring out and on. I mean, like, there's so many times that we got taxis from like Tesco's or Yorkgate and said, "I'm mate here. Can you stop there? Just
There's a wee
then we'll
alleyway
go
or
here.
something you can
I will
run
go
through
in
it."
there and they can grab the money." And we're like 15. But see, the drivers must have knew EV cunts here are gonna fucking try. They're gonna try something.
And what's the point? Like, get out and chase him, and then, you know,
You do anything at that age for a
And
chase, though,
listen,
like, don't you?
I done loads of runners and taxis, like, so I can't say about anybody. You know, it was one of them ones, like, you were young. I remember fucking me and a fella got a taxi down to meet somebody in Castle Street and then back to DC. And we got up to DC and he just went, "Run." And I went, "What do you mean?" And I had money. I could have paid it. It was probably a fiver. And I run. And I'm like halfway through. And I was like, I could have just paid the money for the taxi or
Just
walked
follow
into the
the crowd.
RD. Like, now we're running and I don't even know if I can go back to DC because your mum might be sitting there.
Class. So you end up doing the Fela. So was that your first big gig?
That was the first one to like 1,000 people. I think it was 1,500 people or something like that.
Is it harder in front of your own people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's harder when they're not there to see you. So like doing weddings,
Yeah.
bride and the groom get you to do a wedding. Sometimes it's only the groom, and you go in and the bride's like, "What's he even doing here?" You know, people are there for the wedding. They're
Yeah.
not there to see Paddy McDonnell, and you need to take that into your head. You need to understand if you're doing, whether it be like a charity event or something that you're not on the poster,
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough gig. Weddings especially because everybody at the wedding thinks they're funny, and they're sitting talking. They've been drinking from no early on that day, and then you come in and they have to pay attention to you, so they're like, "What the fuck?" and they're shouting and all that. Just some of the roughest gigs I've done, weddings. But it doesn't matter about the size of crowd because the better gigs for a comedian's a wee tight room, wee small room, 20, 30 people. You'll
The
not get
crack's flowing.
you'll not get a better room than that. But I mean, people were like, "You won't like the SSC when you do it." I loved it. Everybody ought to see me. It was
Class.
brilliant. And the feeling that they've paid to come and see you and they're all there and support you and you can feel the love. You definitely can feel it from the crowds. And it was just that one there was just special. Like, it was 5,000 people there just to see me.
Would that have been
Head
your
in to see
best
me.
gig?
Um,
I think.
Probably not my best gig, but in terms of like how I felt about it, it was the third time doing the SSE for myself. And it was just, I felt in control the whole night.
Yeah.
It was just like, I got the whole place to shush. And that to me was the biggest thing.
For you,
Like,
like,
and I went, shh, and so some of the people was there was like the fact that you could get that many people just to, you could hear pin drop
Yeah.
in reality, like it was unreal.
back in 2011, if you looked in the crystal ball and saw where you are now with the people, like friends you have now, would you have ever have guessed it?
Not at that stage. I never thought of it even as a career then. I think maybe after a year and a half of doing it, I went, fuck, do you know what? I want to do this for a living.
What's the turning point? Like, was there a gig there that you thought, fuck yeah, I'm actually really good at this?
I think once I gigged with bigger acts and I seen that they were not much different than me,
Yeah.
I went, if they can do it, they. I remember one time saying to my dad, I booked somebody for the Fela and they were getting in excess of 20 grand. And I remember telling him, like, they're getting 20 grand for doing 40 minutes, and I'm getting 150 quid for doing 15. And I remember saying to my dad, when I realised what they could earn, I went to myself, I can do what they're doing.
Who was the act, you know? Or can you remember?
There's
I
been a
don't wanna
couple of
say,
guys. They don't want to tell exactly what they
Yeah.
get, but you know, when I realised there was that level of money in comedy, I was like, holy fuck. Like that, I would have to work a whole year to get that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, and listen, don't get me wrong, COVID came, I was back down the door in the Spar. And that was a low point for me. Like, I remember going, fuck, but I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I will fucking shovel shit if I have to pay the bills, you know. So, but COVID was the turning point for me. That was when, you know, a few podcasts went out and people were locked up. People came out the back end, wanted to come and see me, and it got me agents, and, you know, everything changed and I started doing the bigger gigs, you know. So I had a good COVID. A lot of people didn't. So if COVID hadn't happened, I don't know if my career would have went down the road that it did. Maybe it would have, but it definitely was a turning point for me.
See, doing the door in the Spar and doing the door in a bar, it's...
The Spar was
fuck,
the hardest.
The
The Spar was the hardest. The hardest door I ever done.
You must get some lunatics just coming in,
No.
day drinking and all, and
Listen,
getting carryouts.
Down the Springfield Road, and
Is
that
that one?
Spar, yeah.
It's a rough one.
You know, you try and tell somebody they're not getting into the shop. Like, there was no COVID. There was people turning up, 8 or 9 kids. What do you mean we all can't go in the shop together? It's 2 at a time, and there's a limit on who goes in, and you have to have a mask. Like, this is people down the road that don't listen to authority, don't care, you know. So, it took 2 weeks for me to get it in the order, whereas they realised, you fuck me about, you're not getting in here, and I will fucking feed you. I will feed you. I'll fucking.
Did you
come
feed
in.
anyone
Oh,
when you were on the door?
fuck's sake, it didn't stop for the first 2 weeks.
Just
literally,
a
like,
queue just sitting there.
literally fucking fed my people, and it was tough. And then after about 2 weeks, so what you done was you just like, I stayed on, fucking, I'll feed you, and then you're barred. And know what? I'm barring the whole fucking house. So your sisters, your ma, your dad, your granny, everyone's fucking barred, the whole family. So once you done that, it was like, we can't fuck him about.
Yeah.
Because that's where they got their post office money. That's where they came to get their lottery. That's where they come to get their fags. That's where they come to get their carryouts. So they were just, and the butchers was in, they had everything in that shop. So it got to a stage where they knew they had to behave. And
Did
it was
anyone
just
come and apologise to you to get back in?
fucking mountains.
Loads.
That's what I mean. It took like 2 weeks of like, right, okay, we understand. I'm only doing a job. But if you want to fuck me about, I'll fuck you about. You know, and it was only being from down there and being from the road, you wouldn't have knew that that's the angle you had to take on it. You know, and I think my dad's mate that owns the shop, he knew that when he got me. Because I only phoned him, I was like, I've an empty van here, I've no tools, my tools has been sent away for me to work somewhere else. I've an empty van, do you want me to do deliveries? And he went, do you still have your door badge? And I was like, yeah. And he went, right, that's what you're doing. You start in the morning doing the door. I need somebody to regulate people coming into the shop. So he knew, and it was good, it worked, but I mean, fuck me, it was rough.
Just hustle.
In a bar, you sort of just come here and talk to you, get them outside, lock a door, let them kick a fuck out of the door. But there were some things, like there was a video of a fella come in and stole mincemeat, and there was a fight broke out. Like, and I realised there was 27, 30 people with their fucking cameras out, and I'm going, I can't hit him. You know, so I'm just fucking him out by his feet and all, and tussling with him, but it was
you can't do
he was
anything.
off his head, like, there was no reasoning with him. You know, at the start he wasn't even fighting with me, and then by the end he was fucking trying to stick a fucking stick through my head, you know, so...
Would you say that's your worst job?
Worst job ever? Probably not. It was just the hardest one. I actually didn't mind it. Like, I went into work every day and I was getting out during COVID. So I wouldn't say it was my worst one. I'm trying to think what my worst job would be that I had.
Do you enjoy the door? Like even that, if someone said you had to go on the door, would you go back on it?
I just
You'd
don't
probably
think
get a lot of hassle now.
I just don't think you get enough money for what you do in the door. But the vast majority of the time, 90% of people when you work with a public are dead on.
Yeah.
It's just that 10% that are just pricks and try and make your job a hassle.
Harder.
You know what I mean?
I used to do it like in biddies.
Oh dear.
Tunnel up there for about 3 years.
Larry Tate.
But Laurie, legend. Paddy O'Prey was the head doorman up there.
Do you still do the door?
No, I haven't done the door in 4 or 5 years now.
Did you miss it?
No. It was good. See, at the age of 20, like like I done it from 20 to 23. See, when you're 20 and you're like getting all attention, but you got bad attention as well because you're the youngest one there, and
100%.
I was about 14 and a half, 15 kg. I was like a unit, and like everyone thought, fuck here, if I take him down first, you like.
I was always small, so I was the target man.
So it's good crack, but for catching hand at like at that age and stuff like that, it was good.
Yeah,
but
no, I understand people doing it, and majority of the time it's dead on. You're having a bit of crack standing on the door, but when it goes to fucking shit, it goes to shit. Like the problem with the door is you need to know when it's going to go down.
see, especially with the West, there's certain families up the West that just have like that name they have, and then there's like men going in their toilets. And he was saying he just like some wee lad, don't know why, but he came down. Obviously, he admitted himself there that he was on gear, but he was like, "Oh, mate, I was in there sniffing. Some man came in there and gripped me up against the wall and took my bag off me." It's like, right, well, you're out then, and then you had to go up to him, and madness.
Oh,
Madness.
were you going up to him to say give us the bag or?
No, to get the man who took it out.
Yeah,
Well, throw him out as well, and it was just fucking chaos. Like, but he had a family name. I'm not going to say the family. He's just one of them families in the West. And just like you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. Like,
yeah. Listen, the worst beef I ever had was with the gypsies. Like, once you fight one of them, it's like non-stop.
it's all of them.
And it was literally until I got to the stage one night where they turned up with somebody, and I was just like, I don't want this. And they went, do you give in? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, right that on, shook my hand, walked away. And I was like, could I have done this like a year ago? And they were like, yeah. And I went,
They hold a grudge.
it's not even what they just see it as a challenge to the family. So then they just keep challenging you. You know, and once you got your way with a couple of them, then they're like, oh. And they like fighting.
Yeah, I hear.
Do you know, so it's like, even if somebody doesn't want to fight, they would go and say to their cousin, no, you have to go and fight this guy for the family. And they're like, I don't want to fight him.
I love their call out videos. Hope they never change. Hope that
they
they're
can
always
fight.
there.
Like, some of the toughest fights I have was against gypsies. Like, they can fight. They really can fight.
They do the bare knuckle boxing. and
They
all
are
that there.
serious fighters. Like, they can fight. And I got some fucking beatings by them. Like, but because you don't give up, they're just like, you know,
Fair play. Like, fair
you
enough.
just keep going, keep going.
You get the
keep going.
respect.
But there was never a dirty fight. None of them has bit me. Don't remember being bit by a gypsy. I always remember it was just on your feet fighting until you couldn't get up anymore.
Yeah.
And then it was like boom, and then it was handshake, and that was it. So it was some of the cleanest fights I had too. So I give them respect that way.
So one person I want you to tell me about is Frankie Boyle.
Mm-hmm.
What's he like? I'm a big fan of Frankie Boyle.
Me and Frankie, I brought him over to do the fela, and it was protested against because he had just done the jokes about sort of Down syndrome and Harvey Price and stuff like that. So people started protesting, but they let the gig go ahead, but we weren't allowed to talk about it or promote it or anything. But like anything that's controversial, it sold out in an hour.
Exactly.
There was only meant to be 4,500 people in. I reckon there was about 8,000 people because the park, they came over all the fences.
Yeah.
Everybody just came in. They couldn't get a ticket, so they want to come and see it. And they were like, you can't talk about it on stage. And I got up on the stage and I was like, apparently you're not meant to talk about this or say anything about the gig. But I mean, legitimately, like, it wasn't really a real protest, was it?
Yeah.
Like, because it never made it onto the mountain. And that was what I said. And then I didn't do the feel after that for years because I think it was I was connected to the gig, connected to get them.
Yeah.
Frankie's very quiet off stage.
Is he?
Doesn't really say much.
You never seen that there. No, like with comedians, they do seem a bit quieter, and then on stage, you're just the exact. Because when we had Shane on, Shane seemed very
Shane's quiet
chilled,
fella, yeah.
very quiet.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm the way I am. And the thing with Shane was the one that says to me, tell the stories that you tell in the green room
Yeah,
off stage. And I didn't really tell much about my working life or stuff like that because I went, people will not believe that. You know, that was in my head. And we done it on the podcast and it just went, oof, like through the roof. And people were like, thing. But Frankie Boyle, I took his notes off the stage because he didn't fly or anything. And he actually talked about me on a podcast or on stage. I can't remember, but I did see a clip where he says he arrived over here and there was a guy that looked like a heavyweight boxer, which was actually Tommy McCarthy's dad, Big Tom.
is he big lad as well?
Huge, big fucking guy, right? And Tom was there for security for Frankie, just to bring him around. and I was down there, and he came by boat, and he says, I was over in Belfast, and I'd done this gig, which was technically for the IRA, which wasn't true, it was for the fella, but, and he says, and they sent this guy, and I was like, who are you? And he went, I'm your advisor, which was Tom McCarthy, and I started laughing, and Big Tom turned around to me and went, I'll advise you to shut the fuck up. But Frankie tells that. You know? But his notes, he left them on the stage, and I took them, and I went on holiday straight after the gig, and went to Turkey, and didn't have my phone on for 2.5 weeks where we were away. And when I came back, there was all these messages, and people were like, you have his notes? And I was like, calm down, everybody, you know. And then I listened to the voice notes, and I wasn't too happy, so I went, fuck him, he's not getting them back.
So you still have them?
I still have them, but we're friends now.
Your friend.
He's,
Do you think you'll give them back?
Next time I see him, I'm going to hand them.
See the way now that you're in different circles, you met different people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody that you have met where you've kind of been like starstruck or whoa, just along the journey? Because you're mates with James McLean and stuff now, like, and all that there. Like, is there anybody there that stands out?
That I was starstruck with.
And not Jerry Adams.
Who made me starstruck? Let me think. I genuinely can't think of somebody that made me starstruck. I never met Henrik Larsson.
That would have been.
I think if I met Henrik Larsson, I'd be like, starstruck. I met Bruce Willis, but didn't know it was Bruce Willis.
How does that happen?
So he was on, my brother now has shops on like a beachfront, and he knew Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis used to work on the beachfront, like doing these games and all before he was famous. But he came in to buy like a cigar or cigarettes, and he had just a fucking hat on. He looked like a normal fella. And my brother-in-law was like, that's Bruce. And I was like, what about you, Bruce? But I met people every day.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Is this in the States?
This was in America, and I was like, I didn't know who he was. And my brother-in-law was like, not like him or something. And I was like, I don't know him. I only met him or now. He's like, Bruce Willis. And I was like,
oh, fuck's sake.
You know, so I didn't like, so there's nobody really that I've went, fuck, I can't believe. And it's good in this job because there is people that you hang around with or you get to know, you know, through the whole thing. And the only thing I can say to people is try to be normal around people.
Yeah. Just be yourself.
Just
because
be yourself and they're just a human being.
Yeah.
Like, no matter who it is, no matter what they've done, yeah, it's unbelievable to meet them and stuff like that, but just be yourself. Just be normal. Because if you be weird, they're going to be fucking weird back with you. You know? And there's some people that are pricks.
It's the nature of humans.
Some people are pricks.
Some pricks.
And I've met loads of pricks and whatever. Met Billy Connolly. Probably was most starstruck with him, is being honest.
Billy Connolly? Aye. That's here, it's a good one, though. It is.
Oh, listen, fucking grew up watching him, like. But I wasn't even doing comedy when I met him, so. But he was very nice.
See, for anybody that's wanting to start off in comedy, what advice could you give them?
Just go and do it.
Just do it.
So, if you think you want to do it, get up to do it. Because the first thing you need to know is, can I get up on stage? Does my body be able to do it? There's some people in the fucking weed themselves and they'd be sick. So you need to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
And at the start, you're not going to be good. You're not going to be good. You need to perform and perform and perform to fucking get to a standard, like. But you'll have an element of maybe ability about you.
Yeah.
Find what you like doing. Do you like telling jokes? Do you like telling stories? Find your form, because there's different kinds of comedy.
You
There's
helped Big
musical.
Tommy, didn't you? You give him his first gig, was it?
No. Somebody else gave him it, and I just happened to be on, and I panicked, and I was like, you shouldn't have done this gig. It shouldn't be your first one. And then we drove up, and he was fucking brilliant.
It's class.
It's just so easy going, Tommy. I think that helped him.
So chilled out. So chilled out.
So chilled out. So, and he was brilliant from the start. So Tommy was like, it was second nature to him. He's still finding his way in the comedy world, but, you know.
He's back at the boxing now as well.
Yeah, so.
2 fights in the space of a month.
Yeah, he's going to be doing well. He
fair
must be
play to him.
skint. But, yeah, just comedy. Listen, go and try it. Find what you like, and just, you'll get 7 to 10 minutes at the start, and then just build and build and build, and gig where you can. Just be nice approaching people. Don't be a slobber. And I know what it's like at the start, because you're like, I need gigs, but don't torture people. But just do what you can, and if you like it, fucking push it and just keep going.
So we'll go on to a few quick fire questions
Yep.
here, just to finish us off. So your favourite non-Irish comedian,
Favorite non-Irish?
non-Irish comedian.
Simple. Fucking Tom Stade. I think he's my favorite comedian. But he's a Canadian. He's fucking top notch.
See, in your group, so the kind of the Northern Irish
Yep.
comedians, who do you think is the best, the most talented?
The most talented in the Northern Irish comedians. It's quite hard to answer that because everybody is good in their own way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have a good scene because everybody has their own style and good about it.
Anyone surprise you?
Do you know what? I used to not like Shane's stuff. I think he's brilliant now.
Yeah.
I think he's up there, and he's as good as anybody in their day. And I had one of them moments, and the reason why I say this is not to take away from Shane, not one bit. I remember he had his shows in the opera house, and I went down, and I'm standing on the side, and I had one of them moments where I was like, "Fuck!" 9 years ago, me and him were doing these shit gigs,
Yeah.
and he was on the stage, and he owned the stage. It was his audience, and he was just fucking brilliant.
He's grew into it.
And I was just like, do you know what? Like, because I obviously, when I was younger and when we first started, it wasn't really my stuff. But I found myself laughing my head off to him, and I just could see his ability and what he done. So, Colin Gaddis obviously would have been up there from the fucking. He was ahead of all of us, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he's fucking brilliant at what he does. He has an artistic brain about him. Naturally funny, Mickey Bartlett.
Absolute
Mickey
fucking laugh.
Mickey Bartlett's just funny. He's
Yeah.
funny bones. You know, Mickey can look at you and make you laugh. Jamone with his eyebrows, fucking, he's been a master from fucking no age. And Willie Thompson, I know people go because he's close to me, but for somebody that
He
has
is funny as
what he
fuck.
has, he's just a funny guy, and he's Protestant and he's funny, which to me is fucking massive.
A rare case.
It's just massive. People say Protestants aren't funny, but Willie defies all that, you know.
See Shane, he was on the Two Johnnies a while ago, and he went on with a county down top.
He's a ball legger.
I
Shane's a
go,
ball legger.
Shane.
He always was a
I
ball
don't know,
legger.
I'm your guy, man, and he's like, "You know that I'm weighing up my bets." He actually came in our youth club. What this is about 10, 11
He
years
talks
ago.
about this.
Yeah, he came in our youth club, and he got Hoker from Pull and Moves was there. Kieran Nolan was there, and then Tim McGarry was there.
Yep.
And obviously we've grown up with Pull and Moves, love Pull and Moves.
Nobody knew who Shane was.
Shane came in and got absolutely crucified. I felt
He talks about that on
yeah, he
stage.
does. Like we saw the clip and we were like, "Fuck!" Or just like remember that there.
Yeah.
I was bad for him. Like, but look where he is now. Theo Vaughan, fucking on with Theo Vaughan.
Yeah.
It's insane. Who's the best up and coming comedian?
Oh, that's really tough because every couple of years there's always a new wave of ones come in. There's some real hard working ones coming through. But in terms of up and coming, it's fucking hard because to me Mark McCartney's an up and coming, but he's an established comedian.
You're a seasoned vet.
In a way, but Mark's fucking very good. Like,
Do you like Kieran Franco?
Kieran Franco's very good. He's sent me a message. the
Shout
other
out to
day.
Kieran as well.
He is. He just
come
sent
on.
me. I've asked him a couple of times. He's going to do support for me on my tour.
Yeah.
He's very good comedian up and coming. That's what I mean. If like Kieran and Pete Giffen puts the work in, real hard working comedian, and he's getting to be an established act. Jazza Sierra, which was the American girl that was here, she blew me away the first time I seen her. She was fucking great.
So popular now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like
So
the scene
it's-
is booming.
You do see. So every now and again you have these ones coming up, and I've probably forgot to mention loads here.
Yeah.
It's just one of them when you put people on the spot.
Spot.
It's but they're all doing really, really well, and there's some great acts we have here.
Your favourite takeaway?
Favorite takeaway for me would have to be probably an Indian.
New Delhi?
No, but Johanna.
Is that the one in Andytown?
No, it's in Lisburn Road.
Lisbon Road? Oh,
Yeah.
BT9.
BT9.
Bit fancy, go ahead. Driving the Porsche.
Johanna.
BT9.
I don't drive a Porsche.
Outside is telling different though. Your favourite movie?
We'll go with Back to the Future 2.
Future. Your favourite series?
Favorite series, Sopranos.
Favourite book?
Favorite book. Favorite book. Mason Man.
Mason Man. Classic. Least favourite area in West Belfast.
Least favorite area in West Belfast. I love every area in West Belfast. So there's no least favorite one.
Answered like a true politician right there. You could go into politics. Who knows?
Never know.
Best comedian boxer.
Best comedian boxer. Paddy McDonnell.
Paddy McDonnell. And last question is, do you have any call-outs to fight anyone in
Dapper
boxing this
laughs.
year? You want to fight him?
Want to fight him. I've called him out in a couple of places now. Doesn't look like he's interested.
He
and I
doesn't
don't
want to
know why.
smoke.
Well, you could say he doesn't want to smoke, or you could say that he just looks down on me because I'm Irish and not well known in his circles.
The colonial ruler,
But,
once again.
you know, he's Daniel O'Reilly, so he must have some sort of Irish connected to him. Must.
Must.
And he's done boxing before, and he's quite good at it.
Would you
You
say
know-
you'd have him?
You don't get in the ring unless you have somebody. I think the first boxing match I done in the comedians thing, I done Big Roe Boyle, and people were like, "Oh, they didn't even try," and me and Roe got a bit of shit about our fight, and I went, "Right, well, who's the best?" And everybody said Mickey Bartlett was the best that year fighting, so I called Mickey out, not because I don't like him, not because of anything, because Mickey was the best. So you want to fucking test yourself, then? Let's fucking go. And he didn't fucking beat me.
I watched the video of you in the bar, and it was high intensity.
That
Yeah,
was
I
a
was-
tough fight. I didn't expect him to come the way he did. He wasn't technically a very good boxer, but he cheated an awful lot.
All guns blazing.
He punched me on the fucking fist off, and he was standing on my feet quite a bit. He was very hard to fight against, but he says he was going to knock me out in the first round. Not one of his punches hurt me. Not one of
Not
his
one.
punches. Not one of his punches hurt me.
Who did you train with before?
I was training. Don Boyle trains me.
Dan Boyle.
But he didn't. Not one of his punches. There wasn't a mark on me. And he says he was going to knock me out in the first round. I think I could have fought him for 10 rounds. He wouldn't have knocked me out. He just
Think you
didn't.
could have went to 10 rounds?
I probably couldn't have. No,
Here, it takes out of you.
it's
It's a
quite
different level.
quite tight like it was, and I was exhausted. He was quite busy of a fighter.
Yeah.
Mickey Bartlett hurt me fighting him. Roe Boyle hurt me fighting him, like punching. Mickey hit me a couple of punches where I was like, I think in the first round I could have finished Mickey off, and I didn't. Because it was after a couple of digs I was hitting him, it was getting too easy, and I was looking at him and I was going, it's Mickey. And when I get in the ring, I want to last the 3 rounds. I want to give people a fight.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be over quick. And also I just liked it. But there's been nobody that has nearly knocked me out apart from maybe Roe Boyle and Mickey, possibly. But I never felt like I was going. Mickey hit me 2 punches and I went, whoa. They were fucking.
Yeah.
I felt them. But apart from that, no matter who I fought, sparred, nobody's hurt me like that, you know. So,
So Dapper laughs.
Dapper
that's
lost.
the
I've
one we
never
want.
fought him. That's the one we want. That's the fight we want.
One
So
the people want.
everybody would love to see it.
100%.
Ireland versus
agree.
England. 2 comedians, both have done boxing. He has a record, fucking 2-0, you know. So
Take the 0.
100%. I've one split decision defeat, which was against the Bear, and a draw against Mickey Bartlett, and a draw against Roe Boyle. So, you know,
You're up for it. Your game.
I'm here. Let's go.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Well, Paddy, thank you very
No
much
problem.
for coming
Thank
on,
you for
mate.
having me
I
on.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Gentlemen.
100%, Mucker. Thank you.
you.